students to another AD lab. In this AD lab you will see the next experiment, that is relaxation oscillator. So as we have seen the first experiment about astable multivibrator, within that we have seen simulation as well as the hardware part. In this experiment also we have the same thing, that is the simulation part as well as the hardware part. And in today's lab we will do the hardware experiment. Right, so you can see that here are some aims, okay, that we have mentioned in the PPT. That is to design and implement rectangular waveform generator by using the Micro A741 op-amp for a frequency of 2 kHz. And here you can see that these are the materials or components required to conduct this experiment. One is op-amp of Micro A741, the quantity should be 1, resistors are of 1 kilo ohm, 10 kilo ohm and 1.8 kilo ohm each. Capacitor of capacitance value 0.1 microfarad. One power supply. Okay, anyhow we are not using the regulated power supply, we are using the fixed power supply. And finally the CRO will be used to read the output. And I hope in your theoretical part you have gone through these equations. That is for relaxation oscillator, we are going to use the equation T equals to 2RC into the natural logarithm of 1 plus B divided by 1 minus B, where B is nothing but a feedback fraction of R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So here, based upon these equations, we will take some assumptions, okay, because we want to design our output waveform of a frequency 2 kHz. Hence, we will take its inverse, that is 2 kHz, its inverse will be our time period of 0.5 millisecond, and we will assume that our capacitor is having the capacitance value of 0.1 microfarad, and we will take one resistor value of resistance of 1 kilo ohm. And when we apply these values in these equations, that is T equals to 2 into RC into natural logarithm of 1 plus B divided by 1 minus B. So we can apply these values so that we can get the R1 and R2 values. So that is our R1 value will be 1.8K and R2 value will be, that is 10K. Right. So this is what the requirement for this experiment, that is R1, R2, then R and capacitor. Right. So next one, we are going to use this particular circuit diagram to implement our hardware part. You can see that this is the op-amp Micro A741. Okay, you know the symbols, okay, to represent the op-amp. So it consists of okay, let me go to the, okay, you can see in this figure, this is the IC Micro A741, okay, which is a 8-pin leg IC in which the pin number 1 is offset null, means it is not connected, then 2 is inverting input, then 3 is non-inverting input, 4 is minus VCC, 5 is offset null, means these are also not connected, then pin number 6 is the output to get the square waveform, and pin number 7 is a plus VCC, whereas pin number 8 is not connected. You can see that in this IC symbolically we are represented that how it is taking the input from pin number 2 and pin number 3, and it is going to produce the output to the pin number 6, and for applying the potential of plus VCC we will have the pin number 7, and for the minus VCC we have the pin number 4. Right, so we have to memorize this IC, okay, and its internal structure so that we can able to design and develop our circuit. So you can see here, this is the circuit diagram in which the plus VCC is nothing but pin number 7 and minus VCC is minus, that is 4, and next one the minus, okay, that minus sign indicates that it is a inverting terminal, and next one plus sign indicates it is a non-inverting terminal, and next one the capacitor of 0.1 microfarad, resistor of 1 kilo ohm, and next one R1 is of 1.8 kilo ohm, R2 is of 10 kilo ohm, right, and this the output is taken from pin number 6. So this is the thing we are going to use to design our circuit. Okay, now let us rig up the circuit by following that pin diagram. You can see that this is the breadboard and we have already gone through this breadboard logic in the previous session. Okay, and we have implemented the stable multivibrator on this breadboard. Okay, I hope you understood that concept. Now next, in this experiment we are going to use the same component breadboard, okay, and we are going to use the different IC Micro A741. Okay, so this is your Micro A74 IC that I am going to place on this breadboard like this. Right, now here this pin number 1 is not at all useful for us. Pin number 2 is the inverting input. Pin number 3 is the non-inverting input. Pin number 4, that is the minus VCC. Pin number 5, that is not connected. Pin number 6 to take the output. Pin number 7 for the plus VCC, and the 8th one, that is not connected. Right. So we will follow the same circuit to rig up the circuit. You can see that first of all, from the pin number 6, that is nothing but from V out to that pin number 2, that is inverting input. Okay, from pin number 6 to pin number 2, we are going to use the resistor of value 1 kilo ohm. Okay, so this is our resistor of 1 kilo ohm. You can see that it consists of brown, black and red. Okay, so that is of 1 kilo ohm. What I am going to do, I will use from pin number 6, that is the output, that is connected to pin number 2. Right, pin number 6, from pin number 6 we are connected to pin number 2. Later you can see that in the figure, from the pin number 2 we are connected the capacitor. Right, so one of the terminal of that capacitor is connected to pin number 2, and another terminal will be connected to ground. Right, so from that pin number 2, okay, so one terminal of the capacitor will be connected and another will be connected to somewhere else, because here I am going to maintain a ground. Fine, this is the upper part of this circuit. Now next I will go for the lower part. You can see that from the pin number 6, that is a V out, okay, we are going to connect this R1 with the plus, that is a non-inverting input, that is pin number 3, that is of 1.8 kilo ohm. You can see here, this is the resistor of value. You can see the color code, that is a brown, violet and red, so it is 1.8 K. So this resistor will be taken from pin number 6. It will be connected to pin number 6 and another will be connected to pin number 3. Right, from pin number 6 to pin number 3. Fine. So similarly you can see that again from pin number 3, okay, we are connecting one more resistor, okay, and another part of that, means another leg of that resistor is connected to ground. Means here from pin number 3 we will connect one leg and another will be connected to ground. Right, another will be connected to ground. Okay, you must be careful while placing the resistors. Okay, like this we can place the resistor. Okay, so this is the overall circuit that we can see with respect to this circuit. Right, to our circuit, we are going to use this power supply unit. You can see that it is not has that same of our previous power supply, in which we can change the voltage. Right, that is nothing but from 0 volt to 30 volt. But in this case it is not possible, because it is fixed in nature, that is plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, and there will be plus 5 volt and 0. Means within this only you have to work. Right, so here in this experiment we are going to use potential of plus 12 volt and minus 12 volt, and another that will be grounded. Right, so if you refer this figure, pin number 7 is connected with the plus VCC, right, and pin number 4 is connected with the minus VCC. Right, so we are going to use this plus 12 volt, that is a plus VCC, to pin number 7. Okay, you can see that this is the pin number 7 and we are going to connect like this. Okay, so in the pin number 7 we are connected the plus VCC of 12 volt. Similarly for the pin number 4 we are going to apply minus VCC of, that is minus 12 volt. Okay, so you can see that here it is minus, okay, it is pin number 4, so it will be applied with the minus 12 volt. The remaining one is black one, that is the ground. So you can see here, anyhow I have maintained the ground over here. So in this part only I am going to insert this wire. Okay, so this is our ground. Okay, so this is how we can apply the potential to our circuit. We are going to use the CRO to read the output. Okay, as you can see that both the channel A and channel B are having the value 5 volt per divisions, and next you can see that the two props are connected to the both the channels, right? And in the previous session we have also seen that how to verify the CRO, right? That is the thing, but you can use any one of the channel, okay, and by using the probe it's a positive terminal that will be connected to this particular point, okay, and if you are getting the proper square waveform, then it means that your CRO is fine. Okay, so that part we are not doing again, that is already done in the first experiment. Okay, you can go through that. So next here you can see that this is the channel A. Okay, so with the help of this channel A I am going to read the output. So that is the thing, but to read the output, which pin we are going to take? We are going to take pin number 6. So this is the positive terminal, okay, so of this channel A, and this wire will be inserted into pin number 6. It will be inserted to pin number 6, and the next one is negative, that will be grounded. Okay, anyhow here I have created the grounds. Okay, so here I am going to insert this one. Similarly, to check the capacitor charging and discharging, okay, we are going to use the channel B. We are going to use the channel B, and in that the positive terminal of this one is connected to pin number, yes, is connected to pin number 2. Is connected to pin number 2, and the next one is negative, that is connected to ground. So anyhow here I am already connected, so to that same part I will again connect, right? So this is the overall connections that we can able to make. The next one, whenever we are taking the readings, at that time we have to press both the channels to the ground. Then with the help of regulator we have to keep this beam on this reference line. Okay, I hope you can see that there is a reference line. Okay, on that we have to keep this both channel reference line. Okay, next we are going to switch on the power supply and we are going to read the output. Just seen that all the channel, both the channels should be kept on that reference line. Now next we are going to apply the power supply, and let us see that what is going to happen. Yes, the power supply is on, and slowly how to release the ground of the both the channels, and you can see that there is a kind of a square waveform, okay, and there is a kind of charging and discharging, but you may feel that it is a kind of sinusoidal, but actually it is not a sinusoidal, it is a capacitor charging and discharging, right? So this is what we can see, that is nothing but capacitor charging and discharging will be given as a input voltage to the op amp, and op amp is going to convert that one into square waveform, right? Now the next one comes how to read the values. The first one, for reading the values, first we have to calculate the time period. Okay, so the time period, as we know that we have taken 0.5 millisecond, right, for a frequency of 2 kilohertz. So I am going to use the time base. Okay, you can see that it is pointing towards the 0.2 millisecond. Okay, and next with the help of this pull, I am going to keep this waveform like this. Why I am keeping like this? Because this is the vertical line and this is the horizontal line, so there is an intersection, that is nothing but our origin. So to measure the positive half cycle and negative half cycle, I should start from the origin. So you can see that the complete square waveform it's moving like this. Okay, if you want to see only the square waveform, then you can press channel 1, right? You can see only channel 1. So let me see that how much it is. So that is you can see that this complete division is 0.2 millisecond. Similarly, this block is 0.2 millisecond. Similarly, this is also 0.2 millisecond. Now see, this is the positive half cycle and this is the negative half cycle, right? So in which you can see it is not completely towards the 0.2 millisecond, but it is inside, means there is a kind of it is intersecting within the subdivision, right? So for this, how I can calculate? For this, how I can calculate is here. Let me go to the calculator. Right, so here I have 0.2 millisecond, okay, for a division, and I know that totally I have 5 subdivisions. So 0.2 divided by 5 is equals to 0.04, okay, 0.04 millisecond, that is the subdivisions value. Right, now I can count. Now I can count all those subdivisions. How many subdivisions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, it is on the 14th. It is intersection, I can see. So 0.04 into how many subdivisions? 14. So multiply by 14. Okay, I will get 0.56. Okay, 0.56 millisecond. We are almost reaching. Right. After the conversion from the time period of 0.56 millisecond to frequency of 2 kilohertz, now next one is we have to calculate the UTP and LTP values. Okay, so for that I should need the capacitor charging and discharging. So this is the intersection point on the positive quadrant, in which you can see the intersection of input waveform and output waveform, right? So this intersection value I have to read. For this, it will be read in the voltage form. So I am going to use this full, and I am going to keep this intersection on this vertical line, because we have already seen that x-axis is the time period and the y-axis is the voltage, right? So here both the channels are having of a 5 volt, right? So let me calculate the intersection. Now totally 5 volt per division means this is the one complete division, that is of 5 volt. Similarly, the above will be the 5 volt. But you can see that it is not reaching to the last 5 volt. Okay, it is between that one. So let me go by one subdivisions. So for that, first I have to calculate the subdivision value. Okay, so let me go to the calculator again. Okay, what is the division? What is the voltage per division? That is 5. How many subdivisions are there? That is 5. So 5 divided by 5 is equals to 1 volt. 1 volt is the value for each subdivision. So now let me calculate all those subdivisions. How many are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so it is intersecting at 9. Okay, so 1 volt multiplied by 9 subdivisions, totally my plus Vsat will be plus 9 volt. Similarly, I can go for minus Vsat. Again use the pull and go to the negative quadrant. Negative quadrant, okay, and calculate this intersection point. Okay, so that is the thing, but again this is minus 5 volt because we are going towards the negative quadrant, right? So minus 5 volt, okay, again minus 5 volt. Okay, so again each subdivisions will be, that is 5 divided by 5, okay, that is 1 volt, and if we are in the negative quadrant it will become minus 1 volt. So count how many subdivisions are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, here also on the 9th subdivision we can see this intersection. So we have 9 subdivisions into minus 1, so which is equals to minus 9 volt. That is our minus Vsat, right? So plus Vsat is plus 9 volt, minus Vsat is minus 9 volt. Okay, sorry, our UTP value is plus 9 volt and LTP value is minus 9 volt, right? So next one is a plus Vsat. Okay, this the highest voltage level what you can see, that is we call as a plus Vsat, means saturated voltage. Okay, so similarly in the negative quadrant also we can see the saturated voltage. This is a highly positively saturated voltage and it is negatively saturated voltage. So let me use the pull, and again I can calculate, right? You can see that 5 volt and 5 volt. Okay, and you can see that one more additional subdivision it is counted. So totally 5 plus 5, okay, and plus 1, so total 10. Okay, 10 into 1 volt, okay, it will be 10 volt. Okay, 10 volt is our plus Vsat. Similarly go for the negative quadrant. Negative quadrant, 5 volt, so totally minus 10 volt. Okay, and next one is again one more volt is added, so minus 11 volt. So plus Vsat is plus 11 volt and minus Vsat is minus 11 volt. Okay, so these are the readings that we can observe in this CRO. The same set of experiment we are going to see in the simulation part also. Thanks for the listening. Have a great day. Bye.